Recorded. Good morning, everyone. Yulia with HSH Fitness is here, and today we are talking to Kelly Jo Webster, the owner of Knead Massage Therapy, right?
Knead Massage Therapy. Yep.
Just to make sure that I pronounce it right, number one, and number two, that I remember it right. We are going to cover today the myofascial release, a little bit more of generic idea of what it is and why do we have it on the course. And then we are gonna go towards questions you guys submitted through the questionnaire, and we are gonna go through maybe specific questions. If you're watching us live, just make sure you drop a question in the chat box. I'm gonna be watching the chat box if Kelly is talking, and we'll just come back to those questions at the end and make sure nobody's missed. The recording is going to be available on the platform in your week 4. And the bonus part is that Kelly is going to talk to us in a couple of weeks when you guys already hit the workout that we are going to be mentioning today. Try it out and possibly have some extra questions. That way we can help you to modify it for your purposes so you get the most benefits out of the course and out of those workouts and know what your level is and how to gradually increase the load for yourself. Okay, Gilly, tell me a little bit. I kind of made an introduction, but tell me a little bit what is your business about? What are your maybe some of your values or something in that
Yeah,
direction?
great. Thank you. My name is Kelly Jo. I have my own business, Knead Massage Therapy, and I'm located in University Place. I am passionate about empowering others to lead fulfilling, authentic lives with full mobility and minimal pain and discomfort. And one of the ways I like to do that is teaching people how they can provide safe and effective self care in between their massage and bodywork sessions. So I'm really excited to be here today because I have found that myofascial rolling or massage with like the massage balls or rollers, in my opinion, is highly put out a little bit differently. I don't believe in no pain, no gain. So I want everything to be as comfortable as possible because when it's painful, people don't want to do it. And so making it as comfortable and easily accessible to promote good self care and body movement is my goal. So that's why I'm here today.
It's cool. I find myself that my fascial release is so beneficial. I did it before pregnancies. I did it during pregnancies. I'm doing it after pregnancy. And
Mhm.
I'm literally doing it when I feel like I'm tight in certain spots, having the knowledge of how I can help myself in the moment, because I appreciate massage therapists and I still talk to everybody pregnant and postpartum that massage therapists are supposed to be on your healthcare team,
Mhm.
maternity and postnatal. You should have a person you trust. You should have a person who has the knowledge how to help you. And even as a person that works out pretty consistently, I would say recently, because
Mhm.
I have my ups and downs too. But I find it that sometimes, you text your massage therapist, they tell you, hey, I can take you 2 days from today. And you're like, well, I need it now.
Right.
What can I do now to help
Mhm.
myself? And that's where like tennis ball, lacrosse ball, massage balls, foam rollers, they come very, very handy and very, very helpful.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's where we kind of click together because I truly believe you should not be having any pain if you're
Mhm.
working out. If you work out and yeah, there's a common saying, foam roller is my love. Yay. Like this. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of it is about what can I do now? And that's why I included that workout into the
Mhm.
course because, we are hitting it on week 5 when we already worked with body positioning, when we already started to figure out hyperlordosis and hyperkyphosis and all of this posture things. And of course, for the
Mhm.
body to change the pattern, it's going to cause some muscles to take bigger load than they usually do. And sometimes it's um it's just causing that spasm, that overload, one of a sudden, when the muscle doesn't function in the right way, and then one of a sudden you start doing the stuff that it's supposed to do, and it's like, oh, thank you,
Mhm.
of course, but it's a little bit too much. That's when I believe usually you get a spasm, and that's when all of that comes handy. I'm going to open the questionnaire.
And I
Well,
want to
there's
add
one more
too,
comment.
if it's okay, a lot of the times addressing like the specific muscles and, working them is great, but by addressing the fascia and the connective tissue to allow the muscles to fire more effectively and move more appropriately, you have a hard time correcting existing patterns without addressing the fascia. And that's what we're doing with the rolling or the massage balls is the myofascial work. So your new patterns and your new firing order is going to be more effective and longer lasting.
Yeah, and it's going to hook up faster too. That's what
Exactly.
I found.
Mhm.
There is another comment about the foam roller saying that I'm so sad that I discovered that just a month ago from my gym trainer. I'm sorry for your experience,
It's never
but
too late.
it's never too late. Yes,
Never too
that's a
late.
good part. All right. Okay. I'm going to open the questionnaire to see if we have any specific questions. So the first question we asked was about if you ever used massage balls for the self-care purposes.
Mhm.
If those of you that are live are willing to answer us in the chat box, that would be great. I know that not everybody answered the questionnaire. I'm gonna tell from myself, I discovered them about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I was really excited to try the massage balls that you recommended because I found them not as harsh as the ones that
Yes.
I used before.
Yes.
And for the purpose of being a gentle fitness, they were like top notch
Yes.
for that.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah. So the massage balls that I recommended are from the Tune Up Fitness, and they're the Therapy Plus balls. And I like these because they are kind of like have like that rubbery texture, so it does kind of grip the skin, so you can get that fascia tug on the skin, if you will. But there is a little give to it, and the more you use them, they actually soften up a little bit. They don't get super squashy, but this compared to a lacrosse ball is like night and day. The lacrosse balls are so hard and they don't have a lot of give. And when you first start rolling, or if you have an area that's just really, really tight, going in super hard like that can be too much. And then that's going to cause pain and more inflammation. So I love these, and I love them because they come like in a bag, so we can make our surface area bigger, to spread out the pressure until we can like work smaller and smaller. And they're a bit more firm than a tennis ball. So tennis balls are also great, but those have like a little bit too much give sometimes. So these are my preferred one. Like, and you can use these anywhere on the body. So that's why I recommend these. I just love them so much.
I would like to add to this that you ladies have an affiliated link in your blog for the equipment where
Mhm.
you can order them and get a little bit of a discount, I believe. And also, like, so Kelly, you kind of mentioned it, but I'm going to ask that question. So, if we are grading from the bottom up, what would be the uh, I can hardly manage it and what I'm using to where like I feel like that's what I need right now. Like I know I'm that tough that I'm using a lacrosse ball
Mhm.
more often
Mhm.
just because I've been doing it for so many years. Like once a
Mhm.
week I have a session where I release my trigger point.
Okay.
And yeah, so that is my question because I know I started with a tennis ball, but at a certain point, the tennis ball was too squishy, as you said, especially for those like foot releases and like
Mhm.
under the neck releases. Like you press it and you literally feel how your heel like goes in, and you're like,
Mhm.
what happened here?
Okay.
So, what would be like starters to like more of like I got used to certain levels? What would be the level of grading?
For me, so I like the same balls for everything, every stage. If we're on a scale of 1 to 10, I always want to keep it around like 1 being like you can't feel if you're doing anything at all, to 10 being like this is the most uncomfortable. I can't breathe. I'm gonna cry. Why would anyone ever tell me to do this to my body? I like to be right around like the 5 to 6. Before they used to say hurt so good was okay, and that's not true. It should just feel good. So whatever it is for you where you're kind of like, yeah, I'm on it, and man, does that feel good. I like to say you should be able to breathe easily as you do it. So you shouldn't be holding your breath. You shouldn't be like making funny faces, like bracing, like as you're on a specific point. You should just be like, yeah, like it feels good the whole time. Nice relaxed breathing, a nice relaxed face. So for me, that's like, 5 to 6 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
um and then it's all about positioning differently. Like you said, you started with the tennis balls and that was great. And then as you've gone on, like you got to the cross ball, which is awesome. I usually start people out depending on what area we're working on, like against the wall. So then we don't have to worry about gravity, because sometimes gravity is like too much pressure. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
start on the wall to do some exercises where you can control the pressure better using the same balls. And then eventually move down to the floor when you need more intensity to still stay within that feel good range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm that tough that I started doing it right on the floor.
And
And by the way, you
a lot
ladies
of
have the
people don't
workout on
talk.
the floor as well. And
Yeah.
part of this live today is to give you some modifications. So when you try it on the floor and you're like, oh, that's too much, you
Mhm.
know what you can do. So take
Yep.
notes
Yes.
as you
Yes.
watch
If you've
for
already
sure.
tried something and it did not work, we can go through it today. And, if not, we can start to make a list for our next time together to
Mhm.
make sure that we really get everybody on a comfortable way.
Yeah, that it's not a painful experience.
Mhm.
So we kind of covered the second question about the experience with massage balls, and there's a question, how comfortable do you feel to use those balls for self-care?
Mhm.
I will say that I find it very nice because they're small enough to take them with you to the gym. They're
Mhm.
small enough to be stored, in the drawer in your desk.
Mhm.
So you can have them anywhere, anytime, literally, and just, get them out and do it. And I think with modifications for being by the wall, because I know some of them, and I think it's very easy to apply into your daily routine,
Yes.
especially if you are a working person, let's say the person that spends like 10, 12 hours on their feet. I know that there are
Mhm.
some ladies in here that do it, and it's just easy. 5 minutes with a
Mhm.
ball, you're like a whole different person. You're releasing not only your fascia tension, you're also releasing your stress too. That is your
Mhm.
nervous system effect. And I think it's of course about the comfort of your body, number one, and the comfort of you being able to use it in front of other people, or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like society recently is just all about like self-care, even in the offices. They're like all
Mhm.
about self-care, bringing physical therapists in the office and, having letting people take a break when they need it. I feel like it's shifting a little bit better
Mhm.
than what it was my experience back 6 years ago when I was working in the office. I think it's a little bit more liberal. So my
Mhm.
comfort is cool. Like I'm into it. I'm like, yes, take them with you, take them anywhere, do it anywhere, literally. Well, maybe
Yeah.
not on the grass in the park, but like otherwise,
Yeah.
yes, everywhere. For those who are live, do you guys have anything to say about this? How comfortable you are using the massage balls for your self-care routine, and what do you think about it, if you used it or not? I know we had a comment about the foam roller, and foam roller is great, but they're bulky.
Yeah, they're bulky and they're just a broader surface area. So depending on what area you're trying to work, it can be more tricky to use that. So I like to, I mean, I have foam rollers as well. I love them. But I just try to have the most minimal amount of equipment in my house. And so I find that with the massage balls, I'm able to do a lot of the similar stuff, and get more specific with them in specific areas as time goes on than with a roller. But that being said, I have probably 5 or 6 different types and sizes of massage balls. So I don't know if my ball versus roller theory is really anything. It's kind of what you prefer. So I do like the rollers, but they are a bit more bulky. Their give is not quite as much. So you can kind of get a little bit hard on that one.
So, Kelly, when your clients come to you and you
Mhm.
talk to them about the massage balls, what would be like the top two obstacles that they call saying, no, I can't use it? Or like what
Um,
would be like the most general, the most common question about them, maybe too.
I get a lot of, I've tried that and it hurts and I don't want to do it, which is why I asked with the comfort wise or experience, because a lot of people, physical therapists, chiropractors, massage therapists, family, friends, a lot of people suggest people using foam rollers or massage balls, but there's not a lot of guidance given to that. So what do? We go onto YouTube like everything else, but we don't find a lot of gentle care videos on YouTube about how to do it. And it's just the cycle just keeps repeating. It's like here, how do you know who to listen to, and finding the right person that's fitting their styles, fitting with your body and what your body needs, because people are coming at it from different lines of thought. And so the biggest one is I've tried that in the past and it hurts really bad and I'm not going to do that, or like I only do that if I really have to because I get so sore for a couple of days afterwards. Another one is just like, yeah, someone mentioned that, but I just have no idea where to start, and they went on YouTube and they got overwhelmed and they didn't even try. Those are kind of the biggest ones, but I find that a lot of my clients have the tools at home. They have rollers, they have lacrosse balls, mainly like out here in Washington. I'm not originally from here, but they love lacrosse balls out here. Like it's a regional thing for me. So people have lacrosse balls and I'm like, no, 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 don't you, no, let's try these. So it's like a lot of people have the equipment. They just don't know what they're doing. They don't feel comfortable
That's
doing it.
that's a
It
big
hurts.
That's an interesting comment because that was my big deal when I was looking for a ball for my facial release.
Mhm.
Because back in my home country where I was born, we use tennis balls just
Yeah.
because it's cheaper and it's everywhere. And then
Yes.
we've got here, and I was like, I've heard about the massage balls from my chiropractor. And she's like, you can just get them at any sports section. And I'm like,
Mhm.
going to Big Five, Target sports section, Walmart sports section,
And they
no
sell a lot of
massage
them.
balls. I'm
Mhm.
like, there is no massage balls. And she's like, oh, they probably just called lacrosse balls. And I'm
Yeah.
like taking it and I'm like remembering what a tennis ball feels like. I'm like, are you sure that's the ball I'm supposed to be using? Because
Yeah.
that was a big question. And then obviously Amazon has everything right now. And
Yeah.
um,
And
I
that's even
sometimes even experiment with those, prickly balls and
yeah.
just
So
to give
I have a
myself, oh yeah, that
I
one.
have a small prickly one here, which is my other favorite ball. So this one's really small, but it's soft-ish. It's got some give to it. This is the MB Point ball. This is the one I love for my hands and my feet and my forearms. But again, there's some give to it. When you go online, you can't really see what they are, and a lot of them are the hard spiky, but they're like hard. And that's not
Mhm.
what we're going for either. Or you can't really like tell the dimensions. So that gets a little weird. But yeah, I grew up in Minnesota, and lacrosse wasn't even very popular. So I didn't even know what a lacrosse ball was until I got here and people started talking about these lacrosse balls. And then I finally saw one and I was like, oh, I don't really like that. So I went on a long journey to find like the massage balls that I love. And these are the two that I decided on. So that's why I suggested them in the uh, info for you. But yeah, it's just finding the right equipment for your body. Because, like you said, a lot of it's talking to the nervous system as well. So if we're not aware of that, and we're just grinding on the tissue, but we're getting that hunched up, or we're not having that nice deep even breaths, like we're sending mixed signals to our nervous system, and you're not going to get the therapeutic release and benefits from it on a neurologic standpoint as well.
Yeah, holding your breath during those exercises, it's like leading you straight to that fight or flight mode instead of rest and digest. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I'm always like keep breathing, even if it's slower than what I speak up in the video, just keep doing. If you do 5 instead of 10, but you're still breathing through them, you still did a good workout. That's the whole
Mhm.
idea of it. just to do what feels comfortable for your body. Because like with the shoulder mobility set where you have three positions, I always find that it's the last position that is the toughest. And you're like, oh, I'm usually like, I'm just laying there usually for a couple breaths just to get, myself into like, oh yeah, that doesn't feel very comfortable, but I'm calming
Mhm.
myself down through breath work and then start moving, my arms and everything. So that is the
Mhm.
big one, I think.
Yeah. So those are my top feedback that I hear from my clients.
There was one more question about the top two questions about working with massage balls.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't have any questions personally, maybe just because I've been doing it for a while. I'm very excited for you to show the modifications because that's something that I usually show in the offline classes rather than online course because, it would take a long time to for that video, to show all the modifications. And that's why I
Mhm.
invited you because you know this and you have your experience, you know what people usually tell you about this because you see people who do it more often than I do. Because a
Mhm.
lot of times people that come to me, they are like, oh, why are we doing it? I'm like going through the whole idea of myofascial
Mhm.
release, how it's all related to our muscles, nervous system, and everything. And then they're like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Mhm.
But as you said, sometimes they try it out and they're like, oh, that's too much.
Mhm.
That's too much. Do you have any questions? Any questions in the chat coming? No, no, nothing in the chat. So how
I'm
about
here.
we
You
just, oh, there's voice.
uh,
Okay.
yes, that's me. That's my voice. Hi. Well, I just filled your form, and I thought you could see
Oh,
that or not because I have a question, and you know my problem. I have some problems with my hips and my knees, so I just recently had my knee surgery, and
Mhm.
that's why my trainer basically told me to start releasing my legs, like the whole area, and sometimes I feel uncomfortable pain. So that's also the thing is because back in Russia, in my country, some physical therapists they say that you should experience a little bit of pain,
Mhm.
specifically if you just have been gone through a surgery, because
Mhm.
I just want to make sure that my muscle will work and do everything they used to do before. So that probably would be
Mhm.
my question. I know you guys already talked about pain level, but is a difference between pain level for people who are going through rehabilitation process?
Um, for me, no. Um, I don't know what surgery you've had or how far out you are. But
yeah,
if
feel free
the
to type it or say it.
yeah, if you don't want to, that's totally fine too.
That's
Um,
fine. That was just regular, they call it arthroscopy. Right. That was the one.
okay. Excellent. So for me, it's all about helping you because as you're recovering, a lot of the times with physical therapy, maybe you're immobile for a while, so you lose muscle mass, muscle strength, and then you're starting to build up again. But you don't want to go too hard right away and kind of like injure yourself that way. I like to keep it working with your physical therapist, but keeping the pain still good because if you overdo it, what we're doing is actually creating more trauma, micro tears, and inflammation to that area. So after like an arthroscopic procedure, you want to keep the inflammation down right as you're recovering because if you increase it you're going to take a step backwards in your pt as well. So um, different people and different training have different theories. So I know just from my very minimal experience in like Russian sports massage training, it's just a different mindset. And that's not wrong, it's just different. So for me, I don't kind of go down that line. I still like to keep it comfortable and listening to your body while working with your physical therapist on your specific goals. But yeah.
So I think we can kind of shift towards you showing us some modifications or explaining some modifications. Do you want me kind of talk what are the exercises and how they go in the workout and you give
Yeah.
me like comments?
Absolutely. If you
Yeah.
could just remind me what order, because I don't have the video up here. And then I worked out my little video changing. So I'm going to just like, whoop, turn this. I'm going to
Perfect.
stand up. So it's going to be like a mid-body shot of just like,
Perfect.
depending
I
on what
think
we're
that's
working on.
perfect because well, so we start in that workout with our feet.
Okay.
Because I truly believe that when you work with that, you should start from the bottom up because all of that lymph drainage and everything. So you start with feet, there is some pressure, there is some massaging movements, and then we go down into a seated position where we work on our calves right under the knee. And then we go down lean, working the glute, which is probably one of the questions, the hip area. And then we shift towards the upper body, having 3 positions by the shoulder blade from the mid back all the way to the upper back. And then we get up and we kind of finish it up here in the neck area. So whatever you think is the first one that needs modification, it's up to you.
So the foot one, you can do that one, standing. And I'm going to stand up now. So don't mind my moving around here. So you can still do it standing like you had in the video, and just using a chair for support if that's something that foot on the wall isn't really a thing. So just keeping that the same. I'm going to bring my camera down here.
Yeah.
High tech right now.
Going down.
Okay. Here's my ball right here. So I've got the ball, the 2 of them in the bag here, and I'm going to put my calf right on the top of both of them. I'm going to see if you can see this as I roll. You see, and
that's
okay?
kind of what we have in the workout.
Yeah.
With one
so
ball.
I like these in there because you've got the pressure from both of the balls, and then you've got this little divot in between. You see that okay? So I'm going to put my Achilles, like the tendon in the back of my ankle right on there. So just like you did on the video, and then roll just like that. So far, everything is fine there. Everything is kind of what I do. Where we get into more of the modifications is the hips. I'm bringing it back
Camera
up
goes
now.
back up.
Back up. Let me work on my angle here.
Yeah, and give it like a second to refocus too. Because it kind of blurs for a second and then it kind of refocuses itself.
My apologies.
Get it. Okay, cool.
Hold on. Oh, I dropped you. Hold on. It's trying to work this all out yesterday. It was quite entertaining. Okay, so my hip, when we're working on and you did the hips and glutes, right?
Yeah, so we have the glute for just rolling out from the sacrum all the way out, the top third of your glutes. And then there is a movement where we find the most tightest spot, and then we do like circles with our hips with a knee bend and just do hip opening circles. We don't do it opposite direction, just opening.
Okay, so I like to kind of do the similar thing, but honestly just against the wall. So taking the ball, so working that hip like you did on the video, just from that sacrum around. Can you see okay? To the front.
We can
right?
see we can see right the perfect area.
So I'm going to take the balls together still. If you have the one, it's fine. And I'm just going to put it between my body and the wall. That's it.
Do you bend your knees as you stand by the wall?
I am standing.
No. Okay. Straight knee. Okay.
So this way I can just control the amount of pressure by leaning back or not. Now, if I wanted more pressure, I would just move my feet further away from the wall, so more of my
Mm-hmm.
body weight is falling back into it. Is that making sense?
It does. It
Okay.
does.
So my feet are now just closer to the wall, and I'm just gonna now bend my legs up and down, do little squats
Mm-hmm.
to kind of work on that muscle tissue.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna move. So you can keep the two balls in the bag will be a bigger surface area. So it's going to be less intense. Now, if you're down to a single ball, same thing. And then you just kind of get a little crazy and just start doing a full broad sweep.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
going
that's
from the,
what we have, the full broad sweep
yeah,
laying back on
the
the
full
mat.
broad sweep.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of just looks like a little bit of twerking on the wall a little bit. You just kind of get a little crazy and see I'm able to talk, smile, laugh, have a full on conversation. I might move the ball down a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. So now I'm closer to like the middle of my butt cheek towards the bottom. And same thing, I'm going to kind of go multiple directions.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So you, instead of just going sideways from the sacrum out and back, you do more like small circle over
Right.
there,
I'm
going
working the
up, down, and
whole,
to the sides.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because that fascia, so the muscle fibers are going in a specific direction, right? But the fascia itself goes all over like a crazy spider web.
Okay, hold
So
on a second. Your camera needs a little bit of a refocus too again. Can you make like a tiny move of
there
the
we go.
camera? Oh, shoot.
Good.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm covering the whole cheek and I am going right along the sacrum, so that triangle part down on the bottom, because that's where a lot of the attachments are. So I want to hit the muscle attachments on the sacrum, and then I want to kind of work the muscle bellies themselves. So the whole glute. Now I'm going to rotate. So now I'm facing sideways. So it's between my hip bone and the top of my pelvis. So I'm facing forward now. And same thing, I'm just going to rock back and forth, little squat up and down. So this is kind of really getting into that side hip where you can hit your glute medius and minimus a bit better, your TFL, and then you're getting right around that greater trochanter, all around that hip bone, which is where a lot of our deep hip rotator muscles are also attaching. And again, I am just taking you for a tour here. My feet, I just have them, my foot that's closest to the wall, the one that I'm really working, I could pick
Mhm.
that up. It's barely got any weight on it. All my working weight is coming from my other foot. And I can
Mhm.
push towards the wall or not.
Okay. Would you say that one would be a good one if so the question that we had was about the hip area, and
Yeah.
I just know the story behind the question a little bit. So would you say if with a knee being post surgery and the
Mhm.
hip being having, pains once in a while,
Mhm.
would you say just figure out how to apply the correct amount of pressure in this position? Or because, even like bending knees, I know we all still, sit on the chairs and go to the bathroom, and
Mhm.
that's a regular load for the knees,
Yeah.
but like just going up and down sometimes might feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially after a knee procedure, like even like the little squats can be too much. So I would just kind of back up to a wall and just do more of like a wiggle and a shake shimmy.
More of a sweep sideways
Yeah,
or
because
like
you can
just
get
tiny circles.
yeah, more movement from the pelvis moving than from the knees giving you movement.
Gotcha. So like
So,
more stability into those feet rather than
yeah,
knees,
yep,
and lean more with your pelvis and hit the
yep.
pelvis.
Getting more of that pelvis moving than trying to get motion from the knees.
Okay. Okay. And then
Help.
do you have any questions? Um, Chat box is empty. I'm just making sure that there is no questions as we go because because the camera is gonna go up again
I
and we're
know.
gonna cover the next body area. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Just need to try this. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have the recording. You can rewatch and try it and get it done. Okay,
Hopefully you don't
so
get motion.
shoulders, mid back and shoulders.
Mhm.
the next part?
So same thing on the wall. If we are doing along the spine, I like with these, with both of them being in the bag, I can put them right along my spine, and my spine's going to sit in the little divot, so I won't be pushing on the bony bits. And then I can do the little squats up and down and a little side to side to kind of get those erector muscles, the ones that go from the top of the base of our head to the top of our pelvis, to make our spines, to make us stand upright. So what that would look like, again, I'm kind of standing up, let's play here. So I am just putting the balls. So there's one on either side of my spine. And then I'm just, again, leaning against the wall. And I'm controlling how much pressure. So if I want more pressure, I'm going to move my feet away from the wall, so I'm leaning back more. If I want less pressure, I just move my feet closer to the wall.
So would you say when you bring your feet away from the wall, would you say that you have your pelvis tilting a little bit?
I have more of a neutral
pelvis.
Yeah, let me take you for a drive.
It's more neutral spine, right? Because a lot of girls who came to the course, they have that anterior pelvis tilt, say from the pregnancy. So I like bending the knees when you do it on the mat, because that is automatically tilts your pelvis in a little bit.
Yeah. So right now, if I go into an anterior pelvic tilt with my feet close to the wall, if I try to move my feet away from the wall, like it's, you know, I don't have this.
So it's more of that alignment of your pelvis and rib cage. Okay.
Yeah. So you want to have your core engaged. So you don't necessarily want like a posterior pelvic tuck, but you want that neutral spine. So like, you know, if someone punches you in that stomach and you're bracing for it, like you're.
Or you can just make a nice long exhale from the bottom up that you've been practicing for 4 weeks and just get it done.
The up
Kelly,
and down.
you got frozen for a second. Kelly, I'm losing you. Kelly, let me message her and see. Attention. Okay, reset. That happens usually during lives sometimes. That's the tough part. Internet connection, a wind or something.
The wind.
Yeah, I had an issue with the wind last time. Or no, last time actually it was the microphone that decided to die in the middle of the conversation. Here we go. Hi again.
Here we go.
We have lost you at the point where you said you need to engage your core.
Yep. And then right here, I am using my knees. I've got some like bending in my knees again, little squats, just to provide that up and down motion along the spine. Now, when you're standing, you can also do a little lean. So right to left leaning, just to kind of get a little bit different muscle fibers. And you can also do little twists. So just kind of looking over your shoulders.
Okay.
And then move up. So one of the important things about rolling is to not sit on one place for too long. You want to keep the blood flowing to the area. So when we're pushing on like a trigger point or on a tender point, and we keep pushing for too long, we're shooting or pressing out like the blood in that area. And then it gets hypoxic. It doesn't have its oxygen, its nutrients. And when we release, then that's when the new nutrient-rich oxygenated blood comes in. So it's that pumping motion that's really creating a good flushing for our tissues, bringing hydration back to the area. So that's why you'll see me kind of hit like a tender point, and I might work it, 6 to 8 times, and then I'll move off, go roll something else, come back, maybe do 6 to 8 more times. go off, come back maybe a third time, because you don't want to overwork it, even if it's comfortable the whole time, because you can still do too much. So that's why you'll see me kind of do my little twists, my little tilts, and then I'll move to a different area. Same thing.
Okay, I have a question for this area. So the exercises that we have in the workout is more of a static exercise where we hit three areas, and where we have, instead of, including the knees, as far as I know, that is something you can do against the wall and just, raise your arm up and down.
Yep.
And that's what I included because it's usually a little bit easier to align with breath, number one. And then number two, it's usually something that keeps your brain out of that mode that I'm super uncomfortable. And as we said, you shouldn't be super uncomfortable. There should be just a little bit of discomfort, but more of
Right.
like, oh, I feel great, right? And yeah, so technically, would you say those exercises could be done against the wall, just standing there and just moving your arm?
Absolutely. And moving the arm is great because that's what's getting into like the pin and stretching sort of the muscle fiber. So you're lengthening it, shortening it, and creating that pumping motion as well. So I think adding in like that stagnant in the arm raising with the breaths is fantastic.
Cool. Okay. So I'm going to kind of sum it up about the workout. So we have our feet massages that you can do standing. You can use chair or wall for support. Just to make sure that you have the weight kind of in the right position for your body, the right amount of weight on that ball for your body. You can use two balls instead of one for your calves. You can go up instead of being on your back and do the glute swipes against the wall. You can add a little bit of circling instead of just going sideways. In the workout, we have the knee rotating circle where we shift the whole leg. You can just shift a little bit the ball, as far as I understood, down and do kind of the same motion, and then you'll hit the same muscles that we do in the workout. And then as you shift to the upper back, actually, Kelly, I'm very thankful you showed us, you have more options standing. You have an option to roll your whole muscles from your sacrum all the way up to the mid back, and just do a couple rolls going up and down against the wall. That is something that is not in the workout because it's very challenging to do it against the floor. It's very easy to do it against the wall though. And
even
as you
on the
shift to
wall,
your shoulders, you can do just stay in that position, and just if it doesn't feel comfortable to move your arms, you can just shift a little bit sideways, up and down, whatever feels good for your body. Going from, for all of those three areas that I show you though, for the lower part of your shoulder blade, upper part of your shoulder blade, and this nice, beautiful spot where our neck connects to our shoulder muscles. And then you can wrap it up with the neck release, which we do seated, and that's, I think there is not a lot of modification that you can do there. You just literally just hit that ball and you literally apply as much pressure as you want with your hand there. So if you guys try the workout that I have recorded and at certain movement you feel it's too challenging, come back to this recording, watch it again, and do your modification. Do your modification and just write it down. In that workout, we usually do about 8 to 10 movements in each area, which is something that you cover too. So you can do less. You can, I would limit it to 10. I wouldn't do more than 10 moves because otherwise you're overusing your muscles. And that way you can, rebuild that workout for your body, because this workout is going to stay with you till the end of the course. Starting week 5, on top of regular workouts, we are adding myofascial release twice a week. So you'll have to do it twice a week. And as you go down the road, hopefully by week 8, you guys all can do it laying on the back, feeling comfortable, not needing modifications. We have another Zoom call scheduled with Kelly on the 14th at 10 o'clock. You have it in your block 5 on the course, on the platform. There will be emails with the links again. And I'm going to put together a tiny questionnaire where you can just put your questions after you try the workout. So I highly encourage you to try the workout before the 14th at least once and see how you do with it. Were modifications enough? Maybe it was like I didn't feel anything when I did the modification workout, but it's still too harsh for me to do the workout on the mat. We just need to know this at least a little bit beforehand. So when we talk next time, we can answer specific questions that you have, and we can answer specific points of that workout. So going to the next 3 weeks, you guys have the tools to heal your body, pretty much. Right? That was like a nice conclusion.
Yay.
Well, I'm thankful for you, Kelly. I'm very thankful for the knowledge you shared today. I find it amazing that you're probably one of a few massage therapists that I know that say no pain, no gain is not a credo anymore. And yeah, I would for sure say if you guys are in the area, if you're a local, come see Kelly in person if you want to. And if you need extra assistance, feel free to put comments in the comment section. Feel free to reach out to Kelly directly. Her Instagram is going to be under the description of this video, and you can just ask her questions there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me as part of this group. I'm really honored.
Well, thank you. Oh yeah, there is a common comment saying, "Great, just thought yesterday that I need a nice massage. Now you know where to go."
Perfect.
Then you just
Well,
have
I
to
hope to
try.
see you soon.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I'll see you on the 14th, hopefully with some more questions from those who were not able to attend. And thank you to those who were live with us today. And everybody have a great Thursday. I'm going to stop the recording.